I find it really, really interesting that the primary investigator on this case, who's Robert Drum, he checks out this dash camera on April 19th, and there's a body cam of him calling Rexing. And nowhere in his report, nowhere in his body cams, does he ever question why this dash cam does not have audio.
Because they already have the audio.
Isn't that, you don't find that weird?
I mean, you have the main investigator.
He's calling Rexing, and he's not asking, hey, how do I get the audio to this thing?
Instead, what he's asking
He's not even curious.
Is it possible that anyone can have access to this dash camera through the clouds?
That's what he's asking.
He's worried that the family on the outside may have access, may be able to access the dash camera through the clouds.
Think about it like this. Why would that be of interest to him?
And not the audio.
Think about it. Okay, he has the physical camera. He has the SD card. So you have the files. You're not looking for the files, that's for sure. You're definitely not looking for the files because you have the camera. Why are you so invested in finding out whether this camera transmitted the files to a cloud? And can the family get it?
Because his police officer, Chad Mason, cut and muted the dash camera. And now they're terrified. They got to cover... they gotta make sure that, hey, we gotta make sure that, hey, is it possible that if the family on the outside gets it through the cloud, maybe we're busted for doing what we're doing?
Let me make a point. Let me circle back around, okay, and make a very, very specific point.
They gotta cover their ass.
Earlier, I asked you, why do you think the prosecutor and the media never mentioned a dash cam?
For a whole year,
they were waiting.
For a year and a half, they didn't talk about the dash camera.
They were waiting for us to see if we released the dash camera from the cloud, okay? And they waited a year and a half, and they thought, okay, I mean, this family has gone out, protested, they've put in complaints left and right, DOJ, FBI, governor, whatever. We still don't see the dash cam from the cloud. So I think now it's safe to finally come out and say there's a dash cam. It's finally safe to come out and say there's no audio. Because for a year and a half, by the way, till this day, 2.5 years later, nowhere on black and white does it say there's no audio. Why do you think that is? And that's because they were in fear that you might be able to log into Mustafa's Google, his Rexing account, and retrieve the original file with the audio. So they want to say, let's stay silent. Let's see what the family has. And that way we can either come out and say, oh, we got the audio, or, there's no audio.
By the way, there is an app. This dash camera does get uploaded to the clouds. And the reason they're denying Mustafa bond is because they're terrified that Mustafa is going to come out and be able to access the dash camera with the audio.
Exactly. That's why he's held without bond. Because they don't want him coming out and getting his Google Nest videos, which we already have, his Rexing original footage, which I'm not going to comment on, and other evidence that shows these officers...
There's a good time and place for everything.
There's a time and place for everything.
Do me a favor.
Maybe we'll wait for trial. Who knows? Maybe on that day, it's going to come out. Who knows?
There's a good time and place for everything. Do me a favor. Go over to exhibits. This is the dash camera. This is the last 8 seconds on the dash camera. That's what's on the police department server. When you access the police department server, this is the file. You're going to see an 8.3 seconds file facing outside, and there's an 8.0 file facing inside. And the question is, why are those two files sitting on two different frames? And then you find out that Chad Mason admit on the stand to Judge Weimer that he took possession of this dash camera. He didn't follow the chain of custody. He didn't give it to digital forensic. And then 2 days later, after sitting on these files for 2 days, went and got a warrant. And then he's the one that uploaded these files to the server. Well, today I have a dash camera that is cut before impact, and it has 17 frames missing from the camera facing inside the vehicle.
So the videos are different length.
Different lengths. I mean, clearly, Chad Mason, who says, I took possession of this dash camera.
And we know the camera is not damaged because Kathy Zymus says she plugged it into a power cord and the camera turned on. The screen came on, and she could see that the time was off by an hour, which means the camera was functioning properly. Okay? I mean, what? None of the videos on evidence.com have audio from the dash camera.
But Officer Zyman says the last several videos
Didn't have audio.
didn't have audio. So why is it
didn't appear to have audio?
So, but in the server, none of the videos have audio.
Okay, let me tell you what Rexing described and what the manual describes for this camera.
Do you want to watch the video first?
Yeah, we can watch it.
Yeah. Okay. What you see here is Mustafa attempting to pass the vehicle in front of him. He takes the wrong lane, and he finds himself in a position that he can't get back into traffic. And his foot, the computer inside the vehicle, show that Mustafa's foot is on the brake the whole entire time. He makes it all the way to the 4th lane, and the SUV turns into him. Here, you see Mustafa is driving speed limit, takes a lane. Right here, there is nowhere to go. You can't get back into traffic. He takes the wrong lane. You see that vehicle on your right? There is nowhere to go. You can't get back into traffic. The computer inside the vehicle showed that your foot is on the brake the whole entire time. You end up in oncoming traffic. There's nowhere to go.
I mean, if you go straight here, you're in oncoming traffic.
I mean, you're already, the road curve in a certain way where you're already in oncoming traffic. You can't get back into traffic. There's a vehicle blocking you.
I mean, you can see the vehicle in the top video. If you zoom in, I think if you zoom in on the top one, can you zoom in on that? So you can see there's a vehicle to his right. I mean, if you back up a little bit, the car is right next to him. This is when he's already almost into the other side.
Yeah. So you can't get back into traffic. You're hearing the brake. The police department inspected Mustafa's vehicle and found brake failure.
I mean, look.
Two of Mustafa's caliper did not work. Mustafa managed to get the vehicle from 55 to 35. The vehicle wouldn't stop. There is nowhere to go. You end up in oncoming traffic. Now, in that position, what did Mustafa do? He avoids the first vehicle, the second vehicle, the third vehicle, makes it all the way to the 4th lane. According to the investigator, Robert Drum, on a body cam, he said Mustafa cleared all the vehicle, made it to the 4th lane, and the SUV turned into Mustafa. Now, that should be cleared up by the steering angle, which they won't release.
They won't release it.
They're terrified to release the steering angle. Every vehicle will show you the steering angle. Okay, so explain to me why the camera facing inside the vehicle cuts off while the outside is rolling. We're going to go back. I'm going to slowly go through this dash camera. And you're going to see that the inside cuts off. I mean, why does it cut off here? You see the inside, the camera facing inside, cuts off, while the camera facing outside continue rolling. Chad Mason clearly cut this dash camera. I mean, you have a camera that sits on 2 different frames, and you want to tell me that this dash camera is not cut?
Look, let me tell you something. When I read the manual for this camera, when I contacted Rexing, I asked them very specific questions about how this camera operates. Okay, what does the software do?
I mean, Mohammed, this camera cuts off before impact. There is no impact. The camera stops. And Chad Mason says the wire is cut. How? Exactly. How is the wire cut?
Did the wire get cut before or after? Like, does that make any sense? You can clearly see Mustafa and Dorothy. Okay?
You see Mustafa's hand. You see Dorsey's hands. The airbag did not deploy yet. Okay? So how is this wire cut?
Where's the rest of the footage? That's the
I mean,
question.
Clearly, Chad Mason cut the wire, took possession of the dash camera, sat on it for 2 days, violated department policy, the custody that he was supposed to follow. 2 days later, he gets a warrant.
By the way, I'll tell you, if the file...
And he uploads it to evidence.com. Now you've got a dash camera that's cut before impact.
By the way, if he's claiming that the video cuts off, right? The video cuts off. Why does it stop? Why does the minutes stop? Why isn't there like a blackout screen and then the video continue? It's not. This is straight up cut. Like someone just came and chopped the video.
Absolutely.
And what you're showing us, by the way, these are, for anybody watching, these two footages are two different files. You put them on the same player.
Exactly. They're two different files.
These are two separate files.
And I brought them together, and I'm comparing frames. I mean, here.
You put them through an app that puts each one on top of each other, okay? So they can play at the same time. But these are two independent files.
I mean,
So
exactly.
if I was going to cut this video, if I was Chad Mason and I decided to cut this video, I have to make sure to cut it at the same exact time on each video. And I think
what he did.
I think Chad Mason is so sloppy that when he cut one file, he cut the other one at a different time.
Well,
and that's why you have the difference in time.
Well, what he did, if you cut it at 8 seconds, but if you're sloppy enough that you don't cut it at the frame level, because you can't just cut.
I mean, there's 8.1,
yes,
8.2, 8.3.
exactly.
He cut it at 8, and the other one, when he cut it, it just so happened to cut at 8.7.
That you can't find this out unless you're measuring the frames in
Unless
this
you
dash
count
camera.
the frames in the video.
Exactly. Now, this is relevant because the prosecution is talking about Mustafa's facial expression. You took 17 frames out of Mustafa's facial expression. And you want to talk about Mustafa's facial reaction? I mean, what did they say on NBC4? Mustafa reacting
He has
little?
no reaction. Yeah,
I mean,
little to no reaction.
They're saying that Mustafa's not reacting. But here's what I find really interesting. You cut 17 frames out of Mustafa's facial reaction. And when I open this dash camera and I look at Mustafa's with the cut version, you clearly see Mustafa's jaw wide open.
You see his body shift up? As you know, when you push the brake pedal, Robert Drum specifically says that Mustafa did not have, his body didn't shift at all. You know, when you push the brake pedal to the firewall, your body shifts up. And if you watch that video, you can clearly see that his body tenses up, his body shifts up, and he has his tongue in his cheek.
He's reacting in panic to this vehicle accident. His jaw is wide open. He's sticking his tongue.
But you're not supposed to be able
inside
to
his
verify
cheeks?
that. You're supposed to go off what Robert Drum wrote. And Robert Drum says, I saw no reaction out of Mustafa.
I mean, they seal off the body cam.
There's no way for you to verify.
They seal exactly. They seal off the body cam, and they come out with a narrative. They cut and mute the dash camera, seal off the body cam, whatever they have, whatever they seal it, and now they want this community to just take their word for it.